Assalamu alaikum. We are speaking as Muslim views to Shaikh Shouket Allie. He is a learned person in the Islamic Sharia, but he's also a professional in terms of legal studies and has a position in the office of a senior judge at the High Court. And he is an active person in the community. And as someone who has knowledge of and exposure to the Muslim community's work in terms of major services provided by the service providers in the Muslim community, in particular the Hajj service providers in the Hajj industry, we are speaking to Shaikh Shouket Allie regarding an article that was published in the Muslim Views concerning a survey that was done of Hajj operators. Shaikh Shouket has been asked to read the article and to respond to some questions on it, and we want to thank him for making himself available for that. Firstly, Shaikh Shouket, do you think there is a clear conflict between the commercial interests of Hajj operators and the spiritual interests of Hujjaj, that is now the pilgrims, who pay for the services offered by Hajj operators?
As such, I don't think there is a conflict. The ethic and the general behavior, or the behavior of a Hajj operator, there is, as I said, an ethic that flows. As a business person, as a travel agent, and they are duty bound by this ethic and code of conduct, irrespective of whether you are a...
When you say code of conduct, which code of conduct are you referring to?
Code of conduct of either the travel agents board or SAHUK. There must be some oversight committee or oversight body,
yes,
to which they are responsible, and where pilgrims can come back and go and lodge a complaint, lodge a grievance. For example, if they've paid for a service and that particular service was not delivered. So that's why I'm saying I personally don't see a conflict as such, because there's a general a decorum that they need to observe as an entity, as a business entity. For most of them, they are travel agents, and they basically provide a service to the community, to the Hujjaj as a whole.
So you'd say the service they provide is very much the same as a service provided by any ordinary travel agent.
Exactly.
And the fact that there are now pilgrims involved doesn't really make a difference at all.
Doesn't really make a difference, but as a Muslim travel agent, I think they'd be aware of the status of the pilgrim as a guest of Allah, and perhaps thereby going that extra mile, giving them a bit of extra service.
Yes.
And I think they deserve that.
Okay. So the Hajj operators have almost unanimously, if you look at the article that we've published, they have almost unanimously opted for non-disclosure of information relating to the number of pilgrims they service from year to year. Do you think that this kind of information is in the public interest, or are they entitled to withhold the information?
Depending on the type of entity that they are, I think if they're providing a service to the community, if the community is paying for that service, we have a right to information. Nowadays, there's Paya, there's Paja. These are acts that give the community who have an interest in certain entities a right to information. Paya, Promotion of Information Act, today it's very difficult for you to withhold information, especially if that information relates to various aspects of of the community.
So do you think media today, journalists would be justified in using PAYA in order to procure that information?
Yes, definitely. That information can be, they can be taken to court to get that information. On the other hand, why would you want to be so discreet? Why would you not divulge that information if it's not personal information?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we live in an era where information is freely accessible.
Yes. Finally, can I ask, do you think there's a need for greater transparency among Hajj operators?
I think the Hajj industry then definitely needs to be greater transparency. I've traveled quite a bit, I've traveled abroad, and I think South Africa is one of the countries where it's most expensive to go and perform Hajj from South Africa. In the UK, it's not so expensive. In the USA, everywhere, it's not so expensive to perform Hajj. But in South Africa, you've got to work for a lifetime, put away savings for a lifetime to go and perform Hajj.
Mm-hmm.
And then to get third-class service also. And then when you come to the airport, they tell you, you still need to pay this tax and that tax. You come to Makkah, you still have to pay for your accommodation. And I mean, the way they're treating, or some of them, the way they're treating Hujjaj, it's definitely not the treatment that Hujjaj ought to receive.
Thank you, Shaikh Shouket Allie. We appreciate your time, and Muslim Views certainly thinks this is a very constructive input that you've made for the benefit of our readers and, of course, in the public interest. Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.